Welcome to this video on how to make your beginner army for 9th Age fantasy battles using Daemon Legions. So I've been going through all the different armies and now we arrived at Daemon Legions to give you a bit of a heads up on how to get started with the army. So as you can see, I'm using a website here which is called New Recruit. New Recruit is a website that allows you to construct your own army lists for 9th Age, and it's quite easy in how it works basically. So you create a new list, you click on different units, you have all the upgrades available, and you can just customize your list. It will even give you a heads up if you have, for example, not enough core, so your required minimum cost is not filled. Let's put in these succubi. You can adjust the amount of models in a unit, you can give them different upgrades, and then you're gonna have your list back the way you want. And you can also get a very handy overview of what the list looks like if you go to the list overview format basically. So what do we have in the list? We have 2 Harbingers of Father Chaos. I think at 3000 points you could fit in a Greater Demon, which is basically a gigantic model in your army. It is badass, it is quite cool, it is amazing. However, in order to learn the game and to build a collection that is more flexible, I would suggest looking at options of going for Harbingers instead of the Greater Demons, also because the Greater Demons, as an initial investment, they are quite expensive. But obviously you can expand the army quite easily by putting in a Greater Demon and then arriving at bigger point values quite quickly. Then for core we have a unit of Succubi and a unit of Myrmidons and a unit of Imps. Basically there's 4 different core units in the army with the Succubi, Myrmidons, Imps and also the Lemures. They have different play styles and I would invite you to just try them out, basically see what you like best. And it doesn't really matter how you fill your core. I would suggest having 2 combat units. The Imps are a bit of a different unit there because they're basically a ranged option, but 2 combat units is always decent. And well, this collection, this list here is also tied to the models that I will present a little bit later. We're gonna have 3 Hoarders with Smothering Coils, Mirrored Scales. This is a blast to play with because they have great damage output, and Mirrored Scales is sometimes just matchup changing basically. You have the Eidolons for some scouting, skirmishing action and some additional shooting to complement the Imps. Mageblight Gremlins just to learn a bit how to play with ambushers, and Furies to learn how to play with chaff. So basically you have your 3 combat units in Succubi, Myrmidons and Hoarders. The Hoarders might be a bit small, but then you have a lot of redirecting stuff and a lot of magic actually still, with 2 Wizard Adepts, both with the Mark of the Eternal Champion, to just fully boost your troops. So I think in the end this could do quite well on the table as long as you get into decent matchups for your different units. Because that is what Daemon Legions in 9th Age is basically all about. They're all specialists, and if you make the right matchups, then you're going to win, probably. If you don't, then you might not win. So as an idea to get started with this army, I was looking at the Kings of War Forces of the Abyss Mega Army. So this is an army that has been fully painted red in this situation, I would say. You don't have to paint them red, obviously. But here we also have a list of what is in. So you have 60 lower abyssals or flame bearers with command, 30 succubi with command, 10 gargoyles, imp swarms, molochs, soul swarms, etc, etc. So we'll just look at the different choices here. So as you can see in this image, we have, these are the lesser demons or something. These you could play as your Myrmidons, and well, basically as the Myrmidons. You can also play them as the Lemures. You can also even play them as Succubi, even though you have these amazing models to also serve as your Succubi. So I would use these as the Succubi, these as your Myrmidons. Then you have these guys as your Imps. For the Eidolons, I would use these models with the fists that are basically fireballs. We have the Harpies and the Gargoyles. We have the 2 Heralds with different poses with the Afriti. We have the Hoarders with these Molochs, they call them. And then we have the Mageblight Gremlins with the very small models that we have here. As you can see, it actually offers plenty of models in order to put the army together that we proposed. I also have some zoom pictures here. So these are your basic troops basically. You can also build them a little bit differently with a lot of fireballs. I think these are really cute, especially the small guys with the flames. Then the 3D, you have the gargoyles, the molosses, and the succubi. So but that is going to serve as your army. And then the forces of and the abyss range of Mantic has plenty of different choices to further expand your army. So I'm just gonna take out a couple here. That yeah, you basically have everything that you need in order to increase the size of your army still. Also, second page. I think they just have some extra stuff. So this guy could be a demon prince, or it can be a scourge. There's also more impressive models for scourges, to be honest, but then again, this one fits really well within the army. You have this warband booster with basically a hope harvester. I think I would play it as a hope harvester, or as a blazing glory. It's also possible. Another herald probably, and another one. You also still have this guy. You can also, well, you can basically, with 9th age, you can decide how you play stuff as you want. You have expansions for these moloxes, so you can upgrade your order unit basically with bigger units. And you have obviously hellhounds, which they have 3 heads. They're quite cool, I would say. Yeah, so that is basically your options to further expand the army. I think it's going to be a nice army to play also. But we will have a look at Warhall. So Warhall is a software where you can build lists, test lists, play online against other people. And well, obviously you can also get a bit of an impression of how your army will fill the board. And it's quite beginner friendly. So what you're seeing now is the premium version, which you can buy for stuff and money. You can also play for free. There's nothing wrong with that. And the only thing is that you won't have all the stats. Right here I have my advance and my march, so I just know how far these succubi, for example, can move. They can go 10 inches. So they could go up to here in this case. If you have the free version, it doesn't have that feature, for example. And it also has some other features that are locked in premium, or in free mode. But honestly, you can get away with just getting started with the free version. If you want, get the premium version, but it's all up to you, basically. So battlefield-wise, normally you play at like 12 inches deployment. So your deployment could look something like this, where you just have your combat units around here. You have a bit of a flanking unit around here. The gargoyles are probably gonna be left in reserve until you can chaff with them. The imps, you'll play them on the flank probably, and then it's a bit of a shame that you don't have anything to cover the flank of the imps, even though you could also put the hoarders over here. It seems like a decent option. Eidolons over there, it's fine. The heralds can go in the combat units, but you can also play them in the imps, and then the mage polite gremlins are there to just play around with your opponent, basically. As you can see, you fill quite a decent size of the board. And with Demon Legions having Swift Stride everywhere, even your threat range is quite impressive. So you're playing a bit of a semi-gun line, magic gun line build. And I think it's going to be quite alright. You have a lot of scoring units with the 4 scoring units over here. So objective-wise, you're also going to be fine. I think it's a nice set, especially model-wise, to start your army, because then you're going to have plenty of models to further expand to the 4.5k at the budget of 150 euros. So that is going to be great. If I would start with Demon Legions, this is where I would start, I think. So yeah, and then you can spice it up with some other models from either the same company or other companies as you like. That's going to be it for this one. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you the next time.